Thank you for joining us and welcome to Big Apple Mountain Tarot. I'm Mike Rusnak.
I'm Everest Hall. Today we are going to be speaking to y'all about the new moon that's happening on June 6th. And it's an incredible moon. It's Gemini.
Yes, it's Gemini moon. Gemini moon. It will occur at 6:38 a.m. Mountain Time, so that's 8:38 Eastern Time.
Yes,
And we have a conjunction during this new moon.
we sure do.
New moons are not full moons. New moons are times to start something new, to launch a new project, to roll out a new idea, to test out some new theory.
Yep.
Full moons bring a completion. They're emotional. This moon is occurring at 16 degrees of Gemini, where the Sun, Moon, and Venus will be at 16 degrees. And with Venus in there, that could spell what? That could spell some new.
Right.
If you're experiencing a new romance, that's wonderful.
It could be a new romance.
It's time to expand on that. But in Gemini, right? Let's talk about Gemini.
Right. Well, what is Gemini? Third house. It's
Mutable.
ruled by Mercury.
And Mercury is in Gemini there. Within this conjunction too. Jupiter is at 2 degrees Gemini. Mercury is at 6 degrees Gemini. The Sun, the Moon, and Venus will be at 16 degrees Gemini.
Right. And that's
It's all one big conjunction too. And Jupiter injected into Jupiter in Gemini adds a lot of hot air, a lot of gas, right?
Right.
Jupiter overpromises a lot.
It's super expansive and big, but it's being put into this smaller house, which really kind of rules the interpersonal communication, local travel,
Like front porch politics.
stoop porch.
Stoop politics, right?
Right.
Neighborly, though. It's about being neighborly. It's about setting aside your political views, your religious views, your personal views, and just being nice to your neighbors or calling your siblings. It's about small talk, right?
Yeah, small talk. And with Jupiter in that, the way I kind of see this energy is we've been through this big experience all together. It's a new world, new energy. And so now we can kind of talk about our new belief systems with Jupiter in there that rules beliefs.
Yes.
And we can have a powwow with our neighbors and talk to each other in a civil way and learn more about each other civilly and
Gently
and
lovingly.
lovingly.
Venus is there. Remember, Venus is there keeping us heartfelt.
Yeah, and there's a lot of impressive stuff that your neighbors can do that surprise you. Mike and I have been house sitting over at my folks, and there's a little trailer in the backyard, and we were going to bed, and there was the most incredible, very sophisticated goth techno music playing in the atmosphere, and it was coming from some unknown neighbor. You'll see where I'm coming. And I was so impressed with the music and its sophistication, and it really made me feel better about this unknown, mysterious neighbor and my town and of Estancia.
It's like, wow, hello, there is mystery within our town. There is something to find out. There's something to expand on. There's something to present, to even bring our gifts to our neighbors.
Right.
I want to say, that...
Can I talk about conversation real quick? Okay. No, I just want to say, like, within a conversation, Mercury in Gemini, a conversation, is an organic entity that develops on its own. It's not a dogmatic argument or back and forth like my point and your point. It's a combination of the whole thing. And it hopefully will kind of develop and advance everybody with adding each other's smarts to each other. Yeah.
I bet you thought I was waiting to speak, but
I was waiting for you to speak.
No. Those born towards the end of mutable signs will feel this energy a little more intensely. Those born from the 10th to the 20th of March. So that's Pisces, the 10th to the 20th, thereabouts in June. 10th to the 20th in September, that's Virgo. 10th to the 20th of December, so that's Sagittarius. Will feel this more acutely this time may be uncomfortable. For as well aspected as this moon is, it's actually squaring to Saturn. And Saturn in Pisces is throwing a lot of cold water on,
our fantasies?
on this.
Yeah.
It's like being at a party with a bunch of I don't want to say drunks, but with a bunch of
I knew you could say it, but
happy drunks, and they're all talking. They're all talking. It's like, right?
Yeah, it's
Don't
like-
tell me, show me. Saturn is there saying, "Don't tell me,
yeah.
show me."
It's like some grad school after critique party where everybody's like a little and talking about their big damn theories.
Everyone's really high on themselves, and it's like, right. But what can we really do with this?
But how can we have a conversation?
Saturn is there asking for real proof, asking for real structure, asking to be shown something genuine.
Right.
Something authentic. Not,
Right.
not some dreamy...
Not your subjective BS
No.
nonsense,
No.
but like what can you actually bring to the table in a conversation?
Right. Yeah.
In a dinner conversation, and how can you keep the momentum moving and learn more from each other and bond in the neighborhood and in the smaller groups.
Yes.
And interestingly enough, I was looking at the U.S. chart.
It's like knowing when to leave.
Knowing when to leave,
when
exactly.
to just bow out and go home.
I was looking at the U.S. chart, and Gemini is in the 6th, 7th house. Relationships and legal issues. So I thought it was interesting. I mean, it is like a big election year. And so now, as things are kind of like focusing on the election, we're going to get into smaller groups, and we're going to talk about things. And it's time to caucus about what our belief is and what we want the country to do, and how we want it to perform, and what is law, where is power, and how is power being abused, and how can we talk about abuse of power.
Well, good thing for us, Pluto is retrograde, and it will retrograde into those final degrees, that like 29th degree of Capricorn.
Right.
And then move forward finally.
Finally. It's over.
Once and for all. But as it backs into Capricorn, that 29th degree, that anaretic degree is always so powerful, and crazy stuff happens when you're in that 29th degree. Speaking of, I just want to speak about Mars. Because Mars will be moving through the 29th degree of Aries. So that's the anaretic degree. And as that happens, it almost feels like you're in a spaceship and you're re-entering the Earth's atmosphere, and it's just coming apart. It seems like, oh my God, how can we survive this? And then Mars will move into Taurus, and then the energy will become like magma, slow, ground down, and we will probably grind our heels in and restate our positions, because it will be squaring to Pluto in Aquarius, and Pluto in Aquarius that speaks to the future.
The future, the people, the collective, the group, technology. I'm a little nervous about this energy just for...
wait, one more thing.
What? Say it.
Gemini.
Yeah.
It, negatively aspected Gemini could be over worrying.
Flighty.
Obsessive.
Obsessive.
But obsessive and over worrying, spinning their wheels just because there's extra energy.
Right. That's kind of what I was...
It's a lot about temperance. It's a lot about looking to Jupiter, that Jupiterian balance, right?
Right.
Thinking about the temperance card, your foot in the water, which is spirituality, which is inspiration, which is creativity, and the other foot on land, which is reality.
Correct. Mars square Pluto is very volatile. It's very destructive.
Especially 29th degree.
29th degree. In this energy, it's a 16th degree new moon, which is the Tower card. In this energy, if I feel like going back to the stoop, if you're not giving everyone respect on the stoop and in the conversation that you're having, there's going to be frustration. That's going to...
Well, you'll be lonely.
Resentment.
You'll be lonely.
And it could... This resentment and frustration could explode into something volatile, dangerous, violent, aggressive. So tone. Keep it under perspective. Don't react right away. That couple days is going to be a little rough from the 7th to the 12th. Don't be surprised if there's going to be some explosive energy.
Yes, from the 7th to the 11th. So the
7th,
time
11th.
following the new moon is when Mars moves into that energetic degree of Aries and then into Taurus. So that time between like the 7th to the 7th to the 11th.
Yeah.
But then even beyond, because Mars will square to Pluto until the solstice. And the solstice happens on the 21st.
Correct.
So that's when we have our summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. And we find balance.
We find balance. The sun's going to move into Cancer. The energy is going to be a lot less chatty, a lot less flighty, perhaps. There's going to be a little less electrical communication happening.
Maybe a little less frenetic, but we have a whole year
Right.
to get used to this because Jupiter moves through Gemini for the whole year. So that's a lot of like new growth, new expansion, new ideas, a wealth of new information for us to enjoy, to learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it's like we're going to school and it's the summer. How wonderful. Right?
We're going to school and
there
it's
are all
the summer.
these new ideas coming through from
Yeah, you know, it is like that. It's like an advanced summer study group, you know, where you're getting together with some really like amazing people and you're learning stuff and you're going to come back into September feeling so strong and smart and clever because it's this conversation we're having.
I think so. And Jupiter moving through Gemini, it will happen for another year. So Jupiter leaves Gemini in June of 2025.
Correct.
So that's like a really long time to get into this new growth.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. But new friends, new networks, maybe touching base with a sibling that you haven't spoken to. Siblings.
Also, perhaps new local travel. Finding a new market, a new venue to talk to people, a new local restaurant. I mean, it's new energy. Get to know your neighborhood. Get to know. Perhaps there's a restaurant you've been wanting to go to for a long time.
But just to understand, there are worlds within worlds right around us that we just don't know until we reach out and agree to be curious, you know, to take that, to ride that risk, to play that game of risk.
Be curious, and then also, of course, be empathetic, sympathetic. You know, you don't even have to talk to your neighbor. You can just smile at them.
Yeah.
You can just
so when
kind of
mention
wave.
politics, just be like, what's that? I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so we're going to do some tarot. We're going to pick 4 cards with the faces towards me. So everyone out there, pick a card. This is the first card. Here is
It's a special
second
message
card.
for this new moon.
Third card.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying not to look myself, but I just did. 4th card. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh, 3 of Cups.
Okay, conversation. Here we go.
Yeah, and look at how differently they're dressed. So it's different backgrounds. Right?
Different backgrounds, different relationships to each other. They're coming together in a celebration, an emotional celebration, a system of support. They're having a conversation, and it's really helping each other because they're coming up with an open heart.
And
cups
three
open.
is expansion. 3 builds structure.
Build structure.
I mean, 4 corners are better, but you could make out with 3.
Yeah.
You know. All right.
3-legged stool. Oh, there we go. I didn't pick that reversed. This is the Emperor. Okay, so this is the boss of all bosses, king of the terrestrial plane.
Yeah.
Aries also. This is the Aries energy.
It's definitely Mars. That's what I picked. Yeah.
So what is Mars in your chart? How are you Martian and, you know, warrior and fiery, and what can the emperor bring to the conversation?
And the
as he's meeting
volcano
neighbors?
sometimes needs to spew.
It does.
To erupt. Yes, and careful. Don't burn yourself out. Don't burn other people's. Don't burn other people either.
The emperor does not really care about the pawns in his life. He doesn't really care about like the poor little people that he doesn't see. So with this card, it's also a warning of being aware of the people that are
Warning about being selfish.
being selfish and kind of blowing through the people in your periphery.
And don't just wait to talk.
No. And,
Let things land.
yeah, and people love a charming fire energy.
Yeah. And he is wearing robes, so he is soft. He can be, but he's wearing the armor underneath the robes. He's ready to go, ready to fight.
Okay. 2, 3.
Oh.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. What'd you say?
Blight.
Blight.
He's
It's the Seven of Pentacles.
he's looking at his crop and seeing where he's been successful and where he's not been successful.
But it's not a very cheery card, is it? It may be, well, there's abundance there, but this pentacle has fallen to the ground.
Right.
So there's this, it's like starting to age past its prime. It's like, well, what do you do with the abundance that you have reaped now?
Right.
What do you want to create with that? Right?
Do you see something in your neighborhood, in your town, in your community that could be, that's fallen into disrepair, that could use a little love? Is there like a stoplight that has kind of gone on the fritz where you see there could be an accident? Is there,
or a dilapidated youth center?
A dilapidated youth center with a gym that's not being used? It's like that.
Or you see potential for something. Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps there's a house that you kind of are like, wow, that would be really nice to be fixed up.
Or it's nice that you've done all this work, but now how to enjoy it?
How to enjoy it.
That's the big question. How do you enjoy the money that you've accumulated? How do you enjoy your wealth?
Your values.
Yeah.
And I think, once again, with this energy, communicating and talking to your neighbors and siblings about your personal values and being honest on have you reached your goals? And maybe just being like, hey, brother.
This person needs more friends around.
Bingo.
To help them enjoy the wealth.
Bingo.
This person needs more,
more support.
More support, more stimuli. Yeah.
Okay, 4.
They're a little focused in their, 4. Okay. The 7 of Swords.
This one's a rough energy. So this has to do with poor planning, abuse, thievery, stealing, neglect in a certain way.
Yeah, and like artificial achievements.
Artificial
achievements and artificial sense of happiness.
Yeah. So this guy thinks he's really clever, but he is holding those swords by their tips, and they are going to tear his fingers to ribbons as he runs away from this encampment that he's trying to disarm.
Trying to rip them off, but he's leaving evidence of his theft. It's very messy.
It's very messy.
It's very juvenile too, and it's lower intention.
Very juvenile, and everyone's going to remember his thievery and his dastardly deeds within the neighborhood and the conversation that you're having. We can also talk about, as we've talked about, where our values and our crop isn't good, like where we've been abused.
Talking about front porch politics, this could be just gossip.
It could be gossip. Maybe you live in a small town and you don't like the neighbor or the mayor, and you have to have a conversation about the poor management of the town, the poor management of what's going on. Having open conversations about bad planning is a way of making things better.
Mm-hmm.
You got to really be talking about how things are working properly and how they're not falling apart, and how management. This has to do with kind of poor management.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's that.
And that is that. So here's our little story.
Yeah. One. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Perfect.
3 and 4.
Okay, everybody out there, enjoy your new moon.
And don't take it too personally.
No.
Try to remain tempered.
Try to remain tempered because Mars
And don't
is
stay in any
the-
one area too long. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Mars is in the mix. Be careful and enjoy the new moon.
Thank you very much for
very
joining
much.
us.
Bye.